A ceasefire has begun. Shalom all, this is Daniel Stern of Netivyah. I'm still here in Finland and coming to give you the latest news. By now you all know that Iran has launched a reprisal attack against the United States in Qatar, against the largest US airbase in the Middle East. For a few days now, the US has been relocating its assets. Some of these movements were offensive, such as bolstering forces, while others were defensive, including moving of ships out of docks to sea. Yesterday evening, after sending multiple messages through Arab countries in the region, Iran blasted the US. I don't think such an attack has been seen since Pearl Harbor. Well, that's not true. They launched 13 missiles, 12 of which were shot down, and one landed in an open field inside the US airbase. All of the US personnel were safely within bomb shelters. Even British personnel were warned to stay safe in Qatar. Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE all closed their skies a few hours before the attack. Why, it's almost as if it was a show everyone knew was coming, meant to allow Iran to claim they struck back at the big bad US, while not doing anything whatsoever. Donald Trump even mocked and thanked Iran for giving them the heads up and warning about the attack. There was even a report that Qatar suggested this idea to the US and Iran to de-escalate the situation. There were additional reports from Saudi media and other sources of drone attacks on Camp Victory in Iraq, Camp Ain al-Assad, and Camp Taji, but take them with a grain of salt, as the second and third are unverified. Of course, in Iranian fashion, they celebrated the downfall of the US airbase on Iranian media and even claimed Iranians were dancing in the streets. After that, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US President Donald Trump declared a ceasefire was in place. And here are its stages. At midnight, Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Israel, Iran will stop its aggression. At noon Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. in Israel, Israel will stop its aggression. And at that point, the war will be considered over. Israel's Air Force continued hammering Tehran and other targets. Tehran and Iran claimed that it was the deadliest day in Iran since the beginning of the war. There are reports of over 700 Iranian Republican Guard soldiers being killed yesterday. And all of this was leading up to the beginning of the first stage. Iran launched a few waves of missiles leading up to the deadline, some landing after the deadline, but they claim were launched before. Tragically, 4 were killed in a missile strike in Beersheba. We will see how all of this progresses. As of filming this, we are in the first stage of the ceasefire, the stage that Iran is supposed to stop its attacks while Israel still has the right to strike at Iran until 7 p.m. local time in Israel. In the past, the infamous motto was "Quiet will be returned with quiet," a concept that we end our attacks if they do the same, then all is well. Sadly, that never worked. For 20 years, and for that matter throughout Israeli history, Israel has always been on the receiving end of small spatters of missiles that grew over time until they needed to respond, such as from Gaza and Lebanon, and even before that from Syria, Egypt, and Jordan. Leading to a war like the 1956 Kadesh operation or the 1982 Peace for Galilee War, or the dozen or so operations in the Gaza Strip over the last 2 decades. Unlike those challenging situations, the current situation in Lebanon is that Hezbollah was pounded so hard and weakened so much also internally that despite the dozens of strikes Israel has done since the ceasefire in Lebanon, killing many Hezbollah agents and destroying their infrastructure, they have yet to respond once. I hope and pray that the situation with Iran will be closer to the second model rather than the first. In other words, if Israel sees a target that requires neutralization, such as figures responsible for arming terrorists, they will be able to take them out without Israel responding. But only time will tell. Let's keep this short and focused. In my last video, I asked for prayer for my kids, and once again today I ask for that even more. Additionally, pray for the IDF and consider prayerfully contributing to arm them. Recently, there's been an upsurge in requests to Netivyah for aid from reserve units that have been once again called up for additional tours in Gaza. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, and share. God bless you all, and shalom from Finland.